In a small village nestled between towering mountains, there lived a young boy named Arin. Known for his curious nature and incessant chatter, Arin's voice filled the air from dawn to dusk. He had a knack for storytelling, weaving tales that captivated the villagers. Arin, however, struggled to understand this wisdom. He believed that communication and connection were built through spoken words. How could silence, an absence of sound, hold any power? One summer, the village faced an unprecedented drought. The once lush fields turned brown and brittle, and the river that sustained them dwindled to a trickle. The villagers grew anxious, their conversations filled with worry and speculation. Arin, too, tried to lift their spirits with his stories, but even his vibrant tales couldn't mask the underlying fear. One day, an old monk named Amon arrived at the village. Amon was known throughout the region for his profound wisdom and his vow of silence. He communicated through gestures, expressions, and an occasional note on a parchment. Intrigued by the monk, Arin decided to observe him closely, hoping to unravel the mystery behind his vow. Amon spent his days helping the villagers in silence. He repaired roofs, tended to the sick, and assisted with the dwindling crops. His presence was calming, his actions deliberate and thoughtful. Arin noticed how the villagers responded to him, their anxieties easing without a single word spoken. He was fascinated but still puzzled. One evening, Arin approached Amon as he sat by the parched riverbed, gazing at the setting sun. He sat beside him, fidgeting with curiosity. After a few moments of silence, he finally spoke. "How can silence help us? Words are how we share our thoughts, our fears, and our hopes." Amon turned to him with a gentle smile and handed him a blank parchment and a piece of charcoal. He then gestured toward the riverbed, indicating he should draw what he felt. Confused but willing to try, Arin began to sketch. He drew the cracked earth, the wilting crops, and the worried faces of the villagers. As he drew, he found himself becoming more attuned to his surroundings, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of a bird, the gentle breeze. When he finished, Amon took the parchment and studied it carefully. He then drew a single droplet of water, meticulously detailed, at the center of the page. He handed it back to Arin and pointed to the droplet, then to the sky, and finally to the village. Arin stared at the drawing, trying to decipher his message. Slowly, it dawned on him. The single droplet represented hope and the potential of rain, the sky symbolized the source, and the village represented the community's need. Amon was showing him that silence allowed for deeper reflection, for understanding the essence of their struggles and the true source of their salvation. Moved by this revelation, Arin began to practice silence himself. He spent his days listening and observing. He noticed the subtle changes in the weather, the whispers of nature, and the unspoken needs of the villagers. In silence, he found a new way to connect with his community, a way that transcended words. One night, as the village gathered for their evening meal, dark clouds began to gather over the mountains. The air was thick with anticipation. Arin, now attuned to the rhythms of nature, sensed the imminent rain. He stood among the villagers, his silence a beacon of calm. The first raindrop fell, and a collective sigh of relief swept through the crowd. The rain poured down, revitalizing the fields and filling the river. The villagers danced and celebrated, their spirits lifted. Amidst the joyous chaos, Arin stood quietly, a serene smile on his face. He had learned the true power of silence, how it could foster understanding, bring clarity, and connect people on a deeper level. From that day on, Arin's stories were interwoven with moments of silence, allowing his listeners to reflect and connect with the tales he told. He had discovered that sometimes, the most profound messages were those left unspoken, carried by the quiet strength of silence.